Hi, my name's Amy, and I am making a video of my classroom for my master's project. So I am a significant support needs teacher at a school in Douglas County. I work with kids K through 6, and I primarily work with kids K through 3, and then the other teacher does the older kids. We do some stuff that's all together though. On my caseload, I have 8 kids where 6 of them have autism. So I have a great opportunity to work with kids with autism. And then on the other teacher's caseload, she has about 5 with autism that I also work with. 2 of my kids with autism spend the whole day in my classroom with me besides when they go to specials and recess. So I pretty much run a kindergarten classroom in my room. My other kids are kind of 50-50 with when they spend time in my classroom and when they spend time in their gen ed classrooms. And then my goals for this practicum experience is to really just be able to use the skills that I've learned, such as like the communication and the social skills training that we've done with my students. So I think this practicum aligns really well with my classroom this year. All right, so here's my classroom. I will walk you through each part of it. I have 2 kids that both have autism that spend the whole day down here with me. So just keep that in mind. So this is my whiteboard table. It writes lovely with whiteboard markers on it and erases super easily. We like to eat lunch back here and sometimes do little groups back here together. This is I call it the comfort corner. It's like my little calm down area. It has a teepee with a bunch of little stuffed animals in it and comfort foods, which is why it's called the comfort corner, like this. And then some bean bags. This is where I run my groups at. There's typically like 1 to 2 kids in each group. And then my teacher desk, which is a mess. And then back here is like my sound system, my computer for the Mimeo on my board. So on my board, I have a massive board. I have a projector and a screen that pulls down, and then I have a Mimeo, which if you don't know what a Mimeo is, you push one of these buttons when it's plugged in, and it turns the rest of the whiteboard into a smart board, which is awesome. I have a calendar over here. I have a door that leads outside to the playground, or one of the playgrounds. I have buckets with every kid's name on it so that they can put their stuff somewhere. iPads, which will be moving. And then all these cabinets have like academics and stuff in them. And then these tables right here are, I tried to set up groups or independent work, so like write their name on the table to give them their independent work. When I first got this classroom, I envisioned doing like centers, like orange, yellow, and blue, or whatever colors. That didn't work out super well just because of the kids. So just as a heads up, this whole wall right here will be changing in the next couple of weeks to an independent workstation. Well, there'll be multiple workstations, and then the tables in the corners will move and everything too. So let me walk you to the sensory room. So you go out my room, it's dark in the hallway, and into Jessica's room, which is just like this. My kids don't really do stuff in here. And then you come through here, and it is the sensory room. So in our sensory room, we'll start over here. We have like a quiet room. It has nothing in it because the kids that I do have that use this put themselves in it, and they could really hurt themselves. Beanbags, because I have a couple kids that like to sleep in here. Then we have this shelf, and it has like art supplies on it and stuff. Computers for kids to work on. A big sensory table, water table. All sorts of things that are organized. A door outside to the playground. A little reading corner, or just like relaxing corner. A big open space, and then we do have a swing. In our swing, we have like 5 or 6 different selections so that all kids are able to do it. And then just a little table for a nice work area, sink. And then we have a bathroom in our room. There's a changing table, rooms for all the diapers and everything that we have. And then this room's locked right now, and I don't have my keys. But this is a playroom inside this room. It has a little kitchen set and all sorts of toys. This is the last thing that I think is really fun. It's called a Tap It. And it's like a big smartboard, but it flips around and it can look more like a table, and it's made for kids with disabilities so that everybody can access it, which is pretty cool. Alright, so next is just talking about the climate of my classroom. I try to make it a very positive environment with good energy and positive people and just a lot of happiness, because I think that makes for better days. My classroom is typically a little darker. The lights are usually off and I usually have lamps on. That's just how my students like it and how I like it. And it really does kind of bring everybody's level down a little bit, which is really nice. So I do have some roles in my classroom. Right now we're still just trying to learn them. So a couple of like the really big ones is like listen to teachers, be nice to your friends, keep your hands and your feet to yourself, try as best as you can. And then my other really big one this year with this caseload is to not run out of the doors, is to ask before you leave and make sure that an adult is with you or knows where you are going. The door that leads outside has been a big problem this year. My kids like to run away from it. So I try to go over the rules every day using social stories and using examples, and every time they do run out, we try to teach it. I also use token systems like this, where they choose what they're working for, and then they have to earn however many, and then they get it, which is hopefully going to increase positive behaviors and decrease those negative ones. It has just been a lot this year, and I am still trying to figure out what is going to work best for some of these kiddos. Like I said, my classroom is changing, so I don't really know how that's going to affect the climate. I'm hoping that it'll still stay super positive, and hopefully we get some more stuff out of these kiddos that I have. And then I don't know how that'll all affect the transitions within my classroom. Right now it's really nice because it's so open and there's a lot of space for all of my kids to be here. With the change, I'm just not sure how that's going to affect it. So next I was going to talk about cultural responsiveness within my program. So within my program with all my students, I don't have a lot of diversity. It's just not something that's very big in my program. That's like largely noticeable. So to kind of get that, to make cultural awareness more aware, we have to kind of do that through videos and readings and stuff like that. Culture is something that my students have a really hard time understanding. So sometimes these methods don't work great, but I do try to bring in different ways to introduce diversity to my students. I have a ton of technology in my room. I talked about the Mimeo and the projector that I had earlier. So the Mimeo makes it all a smartboard. I have to use the projector for that. And that's kind of where I do a lot of like my movement groups. That's kind of how I do it with guided dances and some fun little workouts that we have. We have a yoga program that we can do up there. I also have iPads that are either assigned to each classroom or each student, depending on the year. My school is a project-based learning school, so they use iPads for all their projects. And I have some apps on there that help with educational goals and like OT and stuff like that. So I try to do everything where there's multiple methods of learning. So either visual, audio, or like touch. So like for example, my calendar is up in the front of my classroom, and we sing songs about that. we look at it and we talk about it, and then each of the students goes up and puts stuff on there. So I try to get everybody involved in the best way that we can, and I try to change up activities where we're doing all sorts of stuff that helps them out. So just the last thing that I really want to point out is that right now my classroom is set up one way, and in the next couple of weeks it's going to look completely different. This whole back wall where my big white table was and there was a big open space will be turning into an independent work center where there'll be different little cubbies where each of my kids will have their own space to work. They'll do teach task drawers back there. They'll do all sorts of stuff. Their schedules will be on the wall. So it's going to look a little different. I set up my classroom one way based off of what I heard from preschool, and I am now changing it based off of what I really have seen from my students. I am working closely with my autism team in my school district, just so that I have some other ideas and other people to help me make all these changes in a safe way. So if you want me to resubmit a video of what my classroom looks like when that's all done, I'm more than willing to do that.